Throughout history, inventions such as the light bulb and the internet have revolutionized our daily lives. However, behind these celebrated advances lie hidden things, innovative technologies that never had a chance to shine. Silenced by corporate greed, buried under government secrecy, and dismissed by the skepticism of conventional science, these innovations were pushed into obscurity, without realizing their true potential. Number 1. Tom Ogle, a self-taught mechanic from El Paso, Texas, made headlines in the 1970s with an invention that seemed too good to be true. His creation, the Ogle carburetor, promised to dramatically improve fuel efficiency at a time when the oil crisis had the world desperate for solutions. This innovative device claimed to be able to run a car for more than 100 miles on just 1 gallon of gasoline, a claim that attracted attention and raised hopes. Ogle's approach to the conventional carburetor was nothing short of revolutionary. Unlike traditional systems that mixed air and fuel before combustion, Ogle's design eliminated the carburetor and fuel pump entirely. Instead, he introduced a black box that vaporized the fuel before it entered the engine. This method allowed the fuel to burn more completely, significantly reducing the amount of gasoline needed to run the engine. The implications of Ogle's invention were staggering. Not only could it mean huge savings for consumers tired of high gasoline prices, but it also suggested a possible decrease in dependence on oil and a step forward in reducing vehicle emissions. In 1977, Ogle introduced its modified 1970 Ford Galaxy, which demonstrated this remarkable fuel efficiency. The media frenzy that followed catapulted him to fame. He obtained patents and attracted the interest of investors and large corporations, all interested in the potential transformation in fuel consumption that his invention could bring. Despite growing interest, the automotive world was skeptical. Experts questioned how Ogle's carburetor could achieve such efficiency without significant engine modifications. However, Ogle was not discouraged. He believed in the potential of his invention and rejected lucrative offers to sell his patents, aiming instead for broader implementation. However, Tom Ogle's promising path came to an abrupt halt in 1981, at the young age of 24. Ogle died under mysterious circumstances. Officially, his death was attributed to an overdose of alcohol and prescription drugs, but his friends and followers suspected foul play. The timing and nature of his death, considering the enormous financial interests involved, fueled conspiracy theories. Some speculated that the oil industry, seeing Ogle's invention as a direct threat to its profits, might have had a hand in silencing him. Others suggested that automakers were behind it, fearing the impact his technology could have on their existing business models. After his death, Ogle's carburetor quickly faded from public memory. The patents still exist, but no major automaker has implemented the technology in any production vehicles. The reasons remain a topic of debate. While some argue that the carburetor never worked as well as claimed, many believe it was deliberately suppressed by powerful interests determined to maintain the status quo. Number 2. Viktor Grebennikov, a self-taught Russian entomologist, spent years studying insects, convinced that they had special abilities, such as anti-gravity. In the 1980s, while exploring the Siberian steppe, he had an unusual experience. While resting on the ground, he felt headaches, ringing in his ears and a metallic taste in his mouth. He discovered that beneath him was an underground city of bees, which sparked his interest in the structure of bee nests and their possible extraordinary properties. Grebennikov began experimenting with the honeycombs and noticed that they gave off an unusual heat, something that could not be detected by ordinary scientific instruments. He hypothesized that the geometric patterns of the honeycombs generated a force field that could alter the environment in unexpected ways. By examining the insect's chitin shells under a microscope, he discovered an extremely ordered structure that appeared to have anti-gravitational effects. In one experiment, while attempting to align two chitin plates, one of them floated in the air briefly before settling, leading him to investigate further into the anti-gravitational potential of these structures. Convinced of his discoveries, Grebennikov built a platform equipped with thousands of insect shells on its underside, claiming that it could fly at speeds of up to 1,500 kilometers per hour and rise 300 meters above the ground. He also claimed that the device made the user invisible from below and surrounded them with a force field that neutralized inertia and dynamic pressure. Despite the magnitude of his claims, Grebennikov faced great skepticism from the scientific community. His attempts to patent his invention in 1992 failed, and although he wrote a book detailing his findings, hundreds of crucial images and schematics were removed before publication, raising suspicions about censorship of the work. Some believe that his research was seen as too disruptive or dangerous to be released to the public, while others suggest that he was the victim of a conspiracy within the scientific community and possibly government agencies. Number 3. Stanley Meyer, an ingenious inventor from Ohio, revolutionized the alternative energy conversation in the 1980s with his innovative water fuel cell. Unlike common electrolysis devices, Meyer claimed that his invention could efficiently split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen using a minimal amount of electrical energy and resonant frequencies, a technique unheard of at the time. Meyer demonstrated his technology in a dune buggy that he claimed ran exclusively on water, using the gases generated by his cell for combustion. The idea of a vehicle that would move down the road with a tank filled only with water, whether rain, well, ocean, or even melted snow water, captured the public's imagination and promised to be an abundant fuel alternative, sustainable and ecological to oil. The hype around Meyer's water fuel cell was enormous. He appeared in local news segments that portrayed him as someone who was turning a long-held dream into a reality, using water to power cars. However, the scientific community received Meyer's extraordinary claims with skepticism, questioning the validity and reproducibility of his results. Tragically, Meyer's trip ended abruptly and mysteriously on March 20, 1998. While dining at a restaurant, Meyer experienced a disturbing episode. Suddenly, he stood up, grabbed his throat, and said, "I've been poisoned!" Shortly after, he fainted and died. Although the cause of his death was officially reported to be a brain aneurysm, this did not stop various conspiracy theories from arising. Many of Meyer's followers thought his death was related to his invention, which was believed to be a threat to the global oil industry. After his death, interest in his water fuel cell continued to grow, with several enthusiasts trying to replicate his technology. However, to date, no one has managed to conclusively demonstrate a functional model that reproduces the results that Meyer claimed, which continues to fuel the mystery surrounding his invention. Number 4. The saga of Joseph Newman and his energy machine is one of the most intriguing in the search for alternative technologies. Newman, an inventor from Alabama, introduced his device in 1979, claiming that it produced more energy than it consumed, defying the traditional laws of physics. According to him, his machine used a principle similar to E=mc2, suggesting that all matter has accessible potential energy. Despite receiving support from more than 30 NASA scientists and collaborators, his patent application was rejected as a perpetual motion machine. Tests from the National Bureau of Standards did not support the results promised by Newman, who alleged irregularities in the tests. The scientific community remained skeptical and Newman had trouble obtaining the patent. In 1987, Newman ran for the U.S. presidency, saying that he had received divine instructions to prevent human extinction. After his death in 2015, his legacy continued with the support of followers and collaborators. In 2017, Geoffrey Miller presented the Newman engine at a conference, seeking to validate his claims and motivate further research. Number 5. Nikola Tesla was one of the greatest inventors in history. You could say he was a modern Leonardo da Vinci. Although he lacked the range of interests of his Renaissance predecessor, he stood out for the sheer genius and inventiveness he developed within the discipline he explored. In addition to his impressive professional career, which has been well documented, one of the most significant aspects of Tesla was the daily life he led. This was riddled with idiosyncrasies that so far have not exactly led to an explanation of his unique genius, but which at least explain some of the ways in which his genius was expressed. Few people in the history of science have the aura of a legend surrounding them like Nikola Tesla. Those familiar with the story will recognize that any term used to characterize his profession may perhaps be scientist, physicist, engineer, or perhaps inventor, but none of these terms adequately characterize Nikola Tesla's life. Perhaps genius is an inadequate description of this man's existence. Tesla, a key figure in the electrical revolution, was the prototypical mad genius. He invented the Tesla coil, whose amazing electrical discharges became the symbol of the laboratory. He possessed extraordinary mental talents that helped him create complicated electrical machines in his thoughts and build them without taking notes. Nikola Tesla was a visionary whose innovations altered the course of human history. So it is not surprising if there is a large community that considers the brilliant scientist a kind of divinity. According to them, Tesla is the true father of an astonishing number of essential inventions, including the transistor, radio, radar, X-rays, and alternating current. Tesla's vision was always ahead of his contemporaries, envisioning a world where people could communicate via radio waves and luminous cities without the use of wires more than 2 centuries ago. He was not afraid of innovation, and that is why Nikola Tesla will always be an undisputed example. During his 86-year life, Tesla filed more than 300 patents, and his inventions helped pave the way for alternating current, electric motors, radios, fluorescent lights, lasers and remote controls, among many other things. Some of his later ideas, on the other hand, seem strange even now. For example, he once drafted ideas for a death ray and alluded to another concept for a wall of force to stop and annihilate foreign invasions. Electronics pioneers Marconi and Tesla made the first claims of extraterrestrial communication. They laughed at both of them and finally dropped the matter altogether. Tesla is a very interesting case. Many people, including his main biographer, considered Tesla to be almost superhuman. However, he was so naive in practical matters that the businesses he targeted repeatedly deceived him. Tesla sold his inventions. Tesla's lifelong ambition was to provide abundant cheap energy that everyone on the planet could live on comfortably. He was so close to his subsequent efforts that companies that had supported him withdrew their support, fearing that they would destroy the monopolies that had made them rich. He is also one of 2 men who have rejected the Nobel Prize. Tesla's greatest invention was the method of generating and using alternating electricity, much more so than Edison's direct current machines. Tesla's alternating current generators marked the beginning of the modern technological revolution. This idea came to Tesla during his adolescence, in the form of a series of almost mystical visions. But the following were the key events. The first, the visions themselves, in which Tesla actually went into a trance and conversed with entities that no one else could see. The second, a series of mysterious illnesses. Between the visions, Tesla became very sensitive in some of these and perceived all the visions as unpleasant. The colors were too bright, the noises too loud. Furthermore, Tesla nearly died several times due to an apparent depletion of life force that his doctors could not explain. And the third, Tesla became a kind of secular seer after his final vision, in which he saw that everything in the universe obeys the law of octaves. He had a strange vision before. He could practically see in perfect detail any machine he had imagined, even down to the smallest measurements and proportions, as if he were measuring a real machine with real instruments. He patented several of these devices and earned $1 million before he was 30. His invention, wireless communication and infinite free energy, made claims about the viability of wireless communication using his devices as early as 1893, developing a radio-controlled boat and a cordless telephone 70 years before cordless phones became common. However, he abandoned those plans for the ill-fated Warren Tower project on Long Island, a station intended to enable intercontinental wireless transmission. Even though the project was primarily funded by J.P. Morgan, who realized the potential benefit of wireless power, when Tesla sought more money, Morgan refused. The main challenge Tesla faced was that Morgan couldn't figure out a way to make money from something that was invisible like radio. In 1904, Tesla, who was adamant about seeing his concept become a reality, wrote with complete conviction that, "When wireless technology is fully implemented, the Earth will become a huge brain capable of responding in every part of it." But a shortage of funds ultimately proved to be the project's undoing, leading to the eventual demise of one of the greatest minds of our time. Tesla was a person who believed in all or nothing, which was one of his character defects. His dreams were ahead of practical engineering. According to the book's author Bernard Carlson, Tesla also rarely slept, stating that he only needed 2 hours of sleep each night. But he admitted that he fell asleep from time to time to recharge. If you're like most, you consider sleep a sacred, vital, and long-awaited nighttime routine. If you're like Leonardo da Vinci or Nikola Tesla, it's a waste of time. The two reportedly followed an intense sleep regimen that will leave you fatigued just thinking about it. It is not controversial to say that sleep is essential. Sleep deprivation causes you to consume more than you need, drives you like a fool or drunk, destroys your ability to learn, and literally eats your brain. While popular in contemporary millennial workplaces, midday naps are not a new concept. In fact, before the Industrial Revolution, it was typical for people to divide their night's sleep into 2 parts, the first sleep and the second sleep. Nikola Tesla supposedly followed an extremely impossible sleep schedule, while pre-industrial segmented sleepers followed a biphasic schedule, i.e. going to bed twice a day. Tesla was the most extreme example of polyphasic sleep, that is, going to bed more than 3 times in one day. This cycle involves taking 6 20-minute naps spread throughout the day. The Poly Society claims that the system can be changed in an unbalanced way to meet its demands. If you can believe it, Tesla never slept for more than 2 hours in a 24-hour period. This could have been the ticket that led to his mental breakdown at the age of 25. University professors warned Tesla's father that the young man's work and sleeping habits were killing him. The obvious reason why people may stick to regular sleeping hours and shorter nap times is because more time means more productivity. Ideally, polyphasic sleep techniques promote longer sustained performance. According to a 1989 study published in Work on Express, as a result, you will not only have more time to complete your tasks, but you will also be able to achieve better results. Tesla was also an eccentric renowned for his showmanship, charm, and public speaking ability. Throughout his life, however, he struggled with mental health problems, most notably a crippling form of obsessive-compulsive disorder. Tesla, like many people, had a touch. He was obsessed with germs, hygiene, and disease prevention. He washed his hands obsessively, and later in life made sure all of his food was boiled before he touched it. He attributed this to his observation of a bunch of bacteria in his drinking water under a microscope in his laboratory, adding that if you could only stare for a few minutes at the horrible creatures, you would never drink a drop of unboiled or unsterilized water. Tesla, a night owl, he worked in his laboratory all night, much to the chagrin of his neighbors, and they were often kept awake by strange noises coming from his house, and they frequently called the police out of concern for the famous scientist. Another of Tesla's curiosities was a strange fascination with the number 3. He had a preference for rituals related to the number 3, such as going around a building 3 times before entering it. He would turn 18 before starting to eat, because 18 was divisible by 3. When arriving at a hotel, he always requested that his room number be divisible by 3 and that 18 clean towels be supplied each morning. Not only would he boil all of his food, but he would also carefully determine the cubic mass of the food on his plate, and then calculate the exact number of jaw movements required to digest it. He was terrified of round objects, and couldn't stand being in the presence of a woman with earrings. While these strange habits may seem funny, they revealed a man who suffered from significant mental illness, who was born in a period when no one understood his struggles. Number 6. Deep in the intricate and mysterious waterways of the Congo, locals tell stories of an enigmatic and fascinating creature known as the Mokombembe. This being, whose name means, "he who stops the flow of rivers," is described as a majestic and enormous quadrupedal beast with a long, slender neck, and a body reminiscent of the ancient dinosaurs that once dominated the earth. According to tradition, it lives in the remote and little explored areas of the vast Congo River basin. The existence of Mokombembe was first revealed to the world in 1913, when German Captain Ludwig Freiherr von Stein-zu-Lossnitz, on his expedition through the region, documented native accounts of this creature. Since that time, stories and alleged sightings of Mokombembe have been passed down by word of mouth, keeping the legend alive in the collective memory of the region. Although the Mokombembe has managed to evade capture and remain shrouded in mystery, it has left behind intriguing signs that fuel the enigma, massive disturbances in the calm waters of the Congo and footprints that cannot be explained with certainty. This raises a question that continues to fascinate explorers and cryptozoologists alike. Could the Mokombembe be a survivor of the age of dinosaurs, a creature that has defied time, or is it simply a legend that has grown over time? The years? The answer remains an enigma, shrouded in the shadows of the depths of the Congo. Number 7. In the acidic waters of Central Africa, a distinctive creature with a giraffe-like pattern swam unnoticed for years until a group of visiting scientists made a remarkable discovery. While conducting a study of fish in several rivers in the Democratic Republic of the Congo between 2021 and 2023, researchers, with the help of local fishermen, caught dozens of these fish with unique patterns. Upon closer inspection, they realized they had discovered a new species, Paraloglanis stagii, also known as Stasny's giraffe catfish. Despite their striking appearance, these catfish are relatively small, reaching approximately 9 centimeters in length, with large mouths, small eyes, and short, stocky bodies. Its brown and cream spots are strongly reminiscent of a giraffe's distinctive coloration, a detail that further intrigues researchers. This discovery adds a fascinating new chapter to the rich biodiversity of Congo's rivers and the region's ability to surprise and delight even the most experienced scientists. Number 8. Silver monolith in Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. A mysterious 12-foot metal monolith appeared on a roundabout. Police were reportedly assigned to protect the monolith from people who wanted to remove or destroy it, drawing crowds of curious onlookers in the Bandal neighborhood. The monolith's sudden arrival sparked debates about its origin. Another mysterious monolith has appeared, this time in our own backyard in San Luis Obispo County, with some residents associating it with symbols seen in documents of the Freemasons or the Illuminati. Armed police eventually dispersed the crowd, but intrigue remains, as similar monoliths have recently appeared in the United States, Romania, and Turkey, evoking comparisons to the iconic structures in Stanley Kubrick's 1968 film 2001: An Odyssey. Space. Number 9. The ancient relics of the Pygmy tribe. Archaeologists have discovered relics from the ancient Congo Pygmy tribe that suggest a rich and ancient culture, much older than previously believed. The Pygmy tribes of the Congo, among the oldest continuous human populations on Earth, offer a fascinating glimpse of a world where ancient traditions and deep cultural wisdom thrived amid the vast rainforest. Tools, pottery, and ceremonial objects hint at a society with complex rituals and advanced knowledge. These remarkable communities, renowned for their intimate knowledge of the forest and their unique adaptations to their challenging environment, have maintained their way of life for thousands of years. Anthropologists studying the Pygmies have uncovered invaluable insights into early human societies, revealing how these small, isolated groups have preserved their heritage through rich oral traditions, intricate rituals, and deep spiritual connections to the land. As keepers of ancient knowledge, Pygmies embody a living link with our distant past, reminding us of the diverse paths that human societies have taken on their journey through time. Number 10. The resonating caves of Nyiragongo. Beneath the burning slopes of Mount Nongo lie caverns where voices seem to travel for miles, becoming louder and more distorted with each echo. Mount Nongo, a towering volcano rising above the eastern edge of the Congo Basin, is a geological wonder and a source of both awe and awe. This active stratovolcano, famous for its perpetually molten lava lake, offers a dramatic display of the power and beauty of nature. The eruptions here are remarkably spectacular, with lava fountains that can reach hundreds of meters into the sky and flows descending their slopes at terrifying speeds. Explorers who ventured into these caves reported hearing sounds that did not appear to come from any known source, deep rumblings and chanting, as if the mountain itself were speaking. Geologists have tried to explain the phenomenon through natural acoustics, but local tribes believe these caves are a gateway to the underworld, guarded by ancient spirits. Mount Nongo's eruptions have had profound effects on local communities, shaping landscapes and histories alike. Number 11. New species of monkey. In the remote forests of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, scientists have recently identified a new species of monkey, known locally as Lesula and scientifically named Cercopithecus lomaniensis. This elusive primate, familiar to local hunters but unknown to the rest of the world, was discovered deep in the Lami Forest Basin, a region that has seen little biological exploration and marks only the second time in 28 years it has been identified. A new species of monkey. It seems that the world still has wonders to discover. The Lesula is particularly striking, with large, almost human-like eyes, a pink face and a golden mane, making it a fascinating find in an era when much of the Earth's surface has been mapped and digitized. Lead scientist John Hart expressed surprise at finding a new species in such a vast and unexplored area, emphasizing the importance of continuing exploration in regions such as the Lami Forest Basin. Number 12. The Mountain of Gold. What appears to be a mountain of gold was recently discovered in Congo, which attracted thousands of villagers who dug it with shovels in their hands. This event highlights the abundance of natural resources in the country, but despite its wealth, Congo remains one of the poorest countries due to inequality in the distribution of wealth. Authorities intervened to recover the gold and temporarily halted mining activities in the area until regulations were met. Additionally, some people have linked this discovery to ancient prophecies about momentous events. Only time will reveal its true importance and consequences. Number 13. Bill Forrest's monkeys. A surprising revelation has put Bill's Forrest in the spotlight, where Charles Darwin's ideas on evolution have been studied for generations. The search for the missing link, connecting humans and primates, has been a long-standing mystery. Although we share a common ancestor with monkeys, the difference between us has baffled scientists. In the Congo, an advanced civilization of chimpanzees known as billy apes has been discovered. These chimpanzees share much of their DNA with humans and are larger and more aggressive than others. They even face lions. Skulls found in the region bear similarities to chimpanzees and gorillas, which has led to speculation that they could be a missing link in human evolution. The scientific community is interested in this revelation, as it could help solve one of the greatest mysteries in our history. Number 14. The lost city of Zinj. In the mysterious region of Virunga in Africa, we find the city of Zing, a place with an intriguing history. In its heyday, Zing prospered thanks to the diamonds beneath its soil, which the wise King Solomon is said to have discovered. Here, residents carried out a unique enterprise, breeding guardians, including gorilla-human chimpanzee hybrids. These guardians were notable for their intelligence and dedication to protecting the city. Over time, Zing was abandoned by its human inhabitants, becoming the lost city of Zing. Zing's story remains an enigma, demonstrating the human ability to create extraordinary beings and the wonder of nature. Number 15. The wonderful baobab tree. Have you seen a tree with superpowers? Yes, you heard right. It may sound strange, but the baobab tree is a real superhero among trees. It is known to have existed since the time of the dinosaurs, more than 200 million years ago. This amazing plant endures where few others can. Baobab trees can live for thousands of years. The oldest recorded was the baobab panka in Zimbabwe, which lived a venerable 2,450 years. Dotting the arid African savannas, it is one of the most iconic and useful trees on the planet. The baobab, this colossal plant, has endured for millions of years and has provided sustenance to tribes since time immemorial. The baobab is a giant tree with a very wide trunk that can store water and survive in dry conditions. Even if it loses its leaves for a long time, it can grow back when it rains. Furthermore, this tree not only stores water but is also useful in many ways. Its leaves can be eaten, its fruit is very rich in vitamin C, its bark is used to make strong clothes and ropes, and its seeds are turned into cooking oil. For all these reasons, it is called the Tree of Life. Number 16. In 1959, Colonel Remy van Leert of the Belgian Air Force had a strange encounter while flying over the forests of the Belgian Congo. He saw a colossal snake almost 15 meters long with a triangular head and green and brown scales on top and a white belly. The snake raised its head about 3 meters high, as if warning of a possible attack. The colonel, astonished, decided to quickly return to the base to avoid danger. Fortunately, the colonel did not miss the opportunity to document this extraordinary encounter. He used an onboard camera to capture images of the gigantic snake, securing proof of its existence. The true origin of this snake remains a mystery. Researchers believe it could be an extremely large African rock python, a previously unknown species, or even a descendant of the ancient Eocene gigantophyte snake. If Colonel Van Leert's estimate is correct, this massive Congo snake surpasses all known records, showing the incredible biodiversity and hidden wonders of the Congo rainforests. Number 17. Recently, locals in Manono, Congo, discovered strange-looking stones with an intriguing quality. They possess an electrical charge. People began to record and share videos about this surprising discovery, which went viral on the internet. When they rubbed the stones together, they produced powerful sparks, like in a welding process. In one of the videos, someone manages to light a light bulb with one of these unusual stones. All of these stones have something in common. They are dark, almost black, with a shiny surface and are probably made of an unknown mineral. Some comic book fans think they are related to Marvel Comics' vibranium, famous for being used in Captain America's shield and Black Panther and Falcon suits. However, scientists believe the videos are fake, as stones normally cannot release the electrons needed to store and generate charge. Number 18. Costa Rica may be famous for many reasons, but you may not know that it is also popular for having a large collection of almost perfectly round stones. To learn more about these stone spheres that can be found throughout the Costa Rican landscape, we must go back to the 1930s. At that time, the United Fruit Company was looking for new land to begin its banana plantation, which was located in western Costa Rica, near the Pacific Ocean. But when workers began clearing the dense jungles, they found something strange: stone spheres. It doesn't sound too strange, but let's explain it. Some were only a few inches in diameter, but others were enormous. In fact, the largest spheres measured up to 2 meters in diameter and weighed up to 16 tons. But where do these spheres come from, or even come from this world? It was obvious that these spheres were man-made because rocks did not exist in such uniform shapes. Locals quickly began to wonder, and many myths developed to explain the stone spheres. For example, some believe that they were brought by aliens. Others believe they were related to the lost continent of Atlantis. Scientific study of the stones began in the early 1940s. Since then, around 300 stone spheres have been found throughout the country. Although many of the stones are not perfectly round, they are surprisingly smooth, and scientific measurements revealed that many of them were close to being perfect spheres. But the most difficult question to answer is why these stones were made and what their purpose was. No one knows for sure. Number 19. Electric eels emerge from the bottoms of South American rivers in the Amazon rainforest to attack their prey with up to 860 volts of electricity, enough to kill a person. Now, scientists have revealed that these snake-like fish don't always hunt alone. In fact, they hunt in packs similar to wolves, orcas, and some species of tuna. This finding, the first among electric eels, is about to launch new studies to investigate when this social predation evolved among the animals. Douglas Bastos, a biologist at the National Amazon Research Institute, who first observed a group attack in 2012, was shocked. Typically, the eels, which can grow as big as a broom and weigh up to 20 kilograms, hunt alone at night, targeting individual resting fish. He noted that this behavior is not common, not only for freshwater fish, but especially for electric eels. Bastos observed the attack on an expedition while searching for endangered sea creatures in northern Brazil. 2 years later, he returned for a closer look, camping alone in the middle of the Amazon, a 5-day boat ride from the nearest city, Tef. He filmed hundreds of electric eels in groups of 10 repeatedly attacking small tetra fish in the Urairi River, a tributary of the Amazon River in northern Brazil. That must have been quite a sight. Number 20. A farmer finds strange inscriptions that lead to the discovery of an ancient lost kingdom. One day you are tending your farm and the next you are being interviewed for a historical discovery. This happened to a farmer in 2020, who alerted local archaeologists about a piece of stone, that he found on his farm. The stone contained inscriptions in Luwian, an ancient language of the Bronze and Iron Ages. The farmer did not expect that the steel submerged in the mud would reveal the history of an ancient kingdom that defeated the Phrygian Empire. The stone, covered in hieroglyphs that read alternately from right to left and from left to right, represented King Hartapu's victorious proclamation over the empire. With this discovery, archaeologists embarked on a mission to learn more about the mysterious kingdom that dared to confront the legendary Phrygian Empire, which was ruled by the legendary King Midas. Number 21. In northeastern Egypt, a farmer preparing his land for planting made an extraordinary discovery: a 2,600-year-old sandstone slab or stele from the era of Pharaoh Amasis. The stele measured about 91 inches long and 41 inches wide, and contained intricate engravings, including a winged sun disk and a cartouche bearing the name of Amasis, one of the pharaohs who ruled ancient Egypt. He was also known as Wahibrahebra, who ruled Egypt during the 26th dynasty, from approximately 589 BC. Until 570 BC, his reign was marked by military campaigns and significant political upheavals. In fact, the slab, inscribed with 15 lines of hieroglyphics, is believed to be related to one of these campaigns. According to historical accounts by the ancient Greek historian Herodotus, Amasis fought against the Phoenicians and faced a civil war that ultimately led to his downfall and replacement by Pharaoh Ahmose II. The hieroglyphs on the stele are currently being translated and may provide unprecedented discoveries about ancient Egyptian civilization. Number 22. In 2021, Australia faced a pretty serious problem: mice, millions and millions of mice. These rodents became a problem for towns and farms across the continent, causing much damage. One Australian farmer even discovered swarms of mice in his barn in New South Wales. He could do nothing but watch helplessly as the rodents ran across his property and over his machinery. The ground seemed to be alive with the incessant movement of these rodents. In 2021, New South Wales had a bumper grain harvest, which provided enough food for mice, allowing their population to skyrocket. This was followed by continuous rains that gave the rodents perfect conditions to reproduce. Farmers were especially hard hit, as crops and stored bales of hay were devastated by the relentless gnawing of these pests. This also affected daily life in rural areas. Mice invaded homes, contaminating food supplies, damaging bedding, and even biting patients in local hospitals. Some farmers reported losses of up to $300,000 in crops. Number 23. In 2016, cheesemaker Jonathan Crump was heartbroken after losing sight of a Gloucester calf, part of one of the breed's few milking herds in the world. When the calf suddenly disappeared, he assumed it had already perished in the wild. However, to his surprise, he found it in a small sinkhole 9 days after it vanished. The calf was discovered by chance when two hikers, Dan Roll and Tom Lewis, were crossing fields and noticed something peculiar in a hole. At first they thought it was a badger, but upon closer inspection, they realized it was a calf. After spotting the little one, nicknamed Sinky, the hikers alerted farm staff, who helped lift the calf out of the hole. Miraculously, Sinky, despite being without food or water for 9 days, ran straight to his mother to feed. After being supported with electrolytes to combat dehydration, Sinky made a full recovery. Jonathan Crump, excited by the reunion, rewarded the rescuers with a piece of his renowned single Gloucester cheese, which they described as the best reward for a good deed. I don't know about you, but rescuing a little calf and being rewarded with a rare cheese sounds like a good deal to me. Number 24. A farmer in Michigan was digging in one of his fields when he unearthed something shocking. While digging in a soybean field on his farm in southern Michigan, James Bristle and a friend made a discovery that stunned the scientific community. They initially thought they had found a simple bent fence post covered in mud, but it turned out to be part of the pelvis of an ancient woolly mammoth. This certainly made things more exciting for the men. James' 5-year-old grandson was left speechless in shock when he saw the huge bone. Not wanting to keep the discovery to himself, James quickly contacted the University of Michigan, and a team of paleontologists was quickly sent to investigate. As they excavated the site, the importance of James' find became clear. In addition to the pelvis, scientists unearthed a skull with 2 huge tusks, ribs, vertebrae in both scapulae of the mammoth. This remarkable creature is believed to have died thousands of years ago. Daniel Fisher, the lead scientist on the dig, suggested that early humans may have butchered it and stored the meat for later recovery. Although Michigan has produced remains of 30 other mammoths, James' find is the most complete. This just goes to show that you never know what treasures may be hidden on your property. Number 25. In 1998, electrical engineer John J. Williams stumbled upon a mysterious object during a hike in North America. What appeared to be an electrical connector was protruding from the ground. The strange thing was that it was far from any human settlement or industrial site. Digging further, John discovered a device with a triple plug embedded in solid granite, now known as the Petrix. John has kept the exact location of the discovery a secret from him, which has fueled skepticism about the possibility that the artifact is a hoax. However, he has offered the Petrix for analysis, although only a few researchers have accepted the offer. Geological analysis suggests that the rock surrounding the component is at least 100,000 years old, profoundly challenging our understanding of technological development. X-ray tests reveal an opaque internal structure, and the component itself shows no signs of having been glued or welded into the rock. It even exhibits weak magnetic properties and high impedance between the pins, similar to an XLR electronic connector. John believes that the Petrix is a genuine artifact of an ancient advanced civilization or possibly of extraterrestrial origin. Both theories are incredibly intriguing and exciting. John has made it clear that he is willing to allow researchers to authenticate the artifact, as long as the rock remains intact during analysis. If proven authentic, the Petrix could dramatically alter our understanding of human history and our technological capabilities. Number 26. Imagine losing a precious diamond ring while gardening, only to find it 13 years later on a carrot, of all things, while digging. This is exactly what happened to Mary Grahams, a woman from Alberta, Canada. She had kept the loss of her ring a secret from everyone except her son, feeling ashamed. Mary even bought a replacement ring to hide the loss. However, fate had a surprise prepared. Mary's daughter-in-law, Colleen Daly, found the ring while she was harvesting vegetables on the family farm. The carrot had grown through the ring, keeping it safe in the ground all those years. When Mary's son called her to tell her the news, she was elated. Reflecting on the incident, Mary wished she had told her late husband about her missing ring, believing he would have found it amusing. Now that she has her ring back, Mary plans to be more careful and has learned the lesson of keeping the ring in a safe place. Number 27. You might think that we have already discovered everything there is to know about ancient Egypt, but from time to time we continue to unearth mysterious finds. Recently, archaeologists in Alexandria, Egypt, discovered a huge black granite sarcophagus that had remained intact for 2,000 years. Speculation ranged from it containing the remains of Alexander the Great to harboring a deadly curse. Upon opening the sarcophagus, they revealed 3 skeletons submerged in red-brown sewer water that gave off a terrible stench. Initial attempts to lift the lid were thwarted by the overwhelming smell, forcing the team to ask military engineers for help to fully open the tomb. Inside they found 3 skeletons believed to belong to ancient Egyptian army officers. The bones were all that remained of the mummies, indicating a family burial. Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, assured the public that no curse had been unleashed. Concerns about toxic fumes led to the site being cleared, although experts dismissed the notion of a mummy curse that could cause harm. Incredibly, the sarcophagus, which measures almost 2 meters high, approximately 3 meters long and weighs 27 tons, is the largest of its kind found intact, dating to the early Ptolemaic period, after the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC. Additional studies will attempt to determine the identities and circumstances of the individuals' deaths. Number 28. Imagine walking on the beach and stumbling upon something that could change your life. This became a reality for Ken Willman during a casual walk with his dog on Lancashire Beach. What attracted his dog's attention and, at first, repelled Ken because of his foul odor, turned out to be a yellow, waxy lump. Initially dismissing the smelly find, curiosity got the best of him. After returning home, a quick internet search revealed that this nasty lump was none other than whale vomit, also known as ambergris. To Ken's astonishment, he discovered that this substance was not simply a strange find on the beach, but a valuable wildcard prized by perfumeries throughout Europe. Produced in the digestive system of sperm whales, ambergris serves a crucial function. It protects the whale's intestines from the sharp beaks of squid, its main food source. Contrary to popular belief, ambergris is excreted rather than vomited and can float in the ocean for years before washing ashore. Ken's discovery was a pile of this floating gold, estimated to be worth a staggering $180,000. Ambergris is coveted for its ability to lock fragrances into the skin, making perfumes last longer. Number 29. A rotating cannon was discovered on an ordinary day on Dundee Beach, southwest of Darwin in Australia's Northern Territory. A teenager unearthed this cannon, a type of small cannon that experts believe had been resting under the sea for almost 2.5 centuries. This find is notable not only because of the age of the cannon, but because such weaponry was unknown in Australia before the arrival of Captain James Cook in 1770. The bronze cannon, measuring 107 centimeters in length, was revealed during a particularly low tide, hidden until then under the sand. This discovery has excited scientists and historians, including Tim Stone, an Australian researcher, who considers it one of the most important discoveries in northern Australia. Initially, it was thought that the cannon could be from the 16th century, related to Portuguese sailors. However, recent analysis suggests it was lost about 250 years ago, possibly during the sandalwood trade. Indonesian traders used to visit Australian shores in search of sea cucumber. Another theory suggests that the cannon could be from an Indonesian ship wrecked in a storm. Research seeks to determine the type of bronze used to cast the cannon and hopes to provide a clearer understanding of its origin and precise age. Number 30. The oldest dinosaur in Africa. In 2017, scientists found the remains of a unique dinosaur, called Osaurus Rhea, in the Zambezi Valley. This small dinosaur, just 1 meter tall, lived about 230 million years ago in what is now Zimbabwe. Although they were unable to identify its species at the time, they later recognized it as part of the Sauroid species. The skeleton, dated to more than 200 million years ago, became the oldest dinosaur fossil in Africa. Today, the almost complete skeleton rests in a museum in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, being one of the strangest recent finds. But it's not the strangest on the list. Number 31. The largest animal that has ever existed. Researchers discovered in southern Peru in 2023 remains of huge vertebrae and ribs believed to belong to an extinct whale called Paracetus colossus. It is estimated that this whale weighed up to 340 metric tons, much more than a loaded Boeing 747 airliner. This new record surpasses blue whales, which were known as the heaviest animals. However, some scientists question whether it really weighed that much, as fossils cannot accurately predict the overall size of the animal. We hope that one day a complete skeleton will be found to better understand this amazing creature. Number 32. Dinosaur footprints. I don't know about you, but I've always been fascinated with dinosaurs. It's incredible to see all the traces these incredible creatures left behind, from their bone fossils to their footprints. That's exactly what park rangers discovered at a Texas state park in 2022. This was possible because of a 2-year drought that hit the area with rising temperatures and significantly less rain. The river that runs through the park receded, with some parts drying up completely. This revealed magnificent dinosaur footprints that experts believe are more than 113 million years old. The footprints discovered are probably from a creature called Acrocanthosaurus, a giant that lived in the forests of North America. It measured up to 15 feet tall and 38 feet long, weighing as much as 3 small cars. It had spines on its back that supported a muscular ridge, which is believed to have had several purposes, such as supporting its body or regulating temperature. Although it is not clear how he lived, his size and characteristics would have made him dominant in his time. Number 33. Stray cow. Between 1,000 and 4,000 pounds, that's how heavy mature bulls are, while females weigh up to 2,400 pounds, depending on the species. Cows can measure up to 145 centimeters in height and have a body length of up to 250 centimeters. That being said, cows have no business inside a sewer, and yet a cow in Fujian province, China, was found stuck in a sewer. This incident occurred strangely more than a decade ago, involving a local farmer's cow, Shang Shu. Shang claimed that he spent 4 entire days trying to find his cow. By the 4th day, he was already losing hope of ever seeing a cow again. The cow called for help in an unusual way, with a loud moo. The villagers found her head poking out of an open manhole, surprised to see her there. Although cows do not usually fall into sewers, this one found itself in that situation without its owner knowing how. Fortunately, she was easily rescued and went back to grazing as if nothing had happened. Number 34. A ring that presents the image of the god of fun, in a notable archaeological discovery that rivals the excitement of any treasure hunt. Egypt has unveiled stunning gold jewelry dating back more than 3,300 years. This treasure was unearthed at a burial site within the ancient city of Akhetaten, now known as Amarna, located about 300 kilometers south of bustling Cairo. This burial site is no ordinary find, as it is linked to the controversial pharaoh Akhenaten, known for transforming Egypt's religious beliefs by focusing on a single solar deity called the Aten and moving the capital to Akhetaten, his desert sanctuary. Akhenaten's religious reforms were later reversed by his son Tutankhamun, and the city of Akhenaten was abandoned shortly after Akhenaten's death. The newly discovered jewels include 3 rings, one of which features an engraved image of Bes, known as the god of fun. Bes, depicted as a dwarf, was associated with music, celebration, and protecting women during childbirth. Although it is unclear who was buried with these jewels and why, exploring the riches of ancient Egypt remains an intriguing adventure. As the ancient treasures of Egypt continue to captivate us, research into these fascinating gold artifacts linked to the god of fun unfolds as a continuing journey of discovery. Number 35. A team of researchers from Egypt's National Research Institute of Astronomy and Geophysics, together with 2 Japanese universities, has identified a highly resistive electrical anomaly beneath the surface of the Western Cemetery, adjacent to the Great Pyramid of Cheops in Giza. In a paper recently published in Archaeological Prospection, the scientists detail how they used ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography to explore the area starting in 2021. The team discovered a shallow structure, about 2 meters deep, filled with sand, connected to a deeper formation. This surface structure, L-shaped and with approximate dimensions of 10 m times 15 m, was clearly captured by the GPR. The researchers suggest that this structure could have been an entrance to a deeper underground structure. The ERT revealed a highly resistive electrical anomaly in an area of approximately 10 m times 10 m, located at a depth of 5 to 10 meters below the surface. The material causing this anomaly could be a mixture of sand and gravel, with possible empty spaces or voids. Although researchers have not been able to precisely identify the material responsible, they suggest that it could be a large underground archaeological structure. They consider the possibility that the anomalies could be related to vertical limestone walls or shafts leading to a tomb. The connection between the surface structure and the underground formation is crucial to understanding its purpose. Number 36. A Franco-Egyptian archaeological mission, led by Dr. Chris Krassion, has made an important discovery under the Nile in Aswan. The mission, which includes Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities and the Paul Valéry University of Montpellier, discovered inscriptions and reliefs of pharaohs such as Amenhotep III, Thutmose IV, Psammetichus II and Apries. The discovery occurred during an archaeological and photographic exploration project between the Aswan Dams and the High Dam. Dr. Mohammed Ismail Khaled of the Supreme Council of Antiquities reported that the team started on the islands of Philae and Knossos, and has managed to document the inscriptions well thanks to their good state of preservation. Dr. Hisham El-Lethi explained that advanced techniques such as diving, archaeological surveying, underwater photography, photogrammetry and archaeological drawing were used to identify and document the inscriptions. Dr. Islam Salim mentioned that they are creating three-dimensional models of the inscriptions, which will be studied and published for preservation. Preliminary results suggest that more historical data could be found about ancient Egypt, especially about the 18th dynasty and the late period. The mission will continue searching for more secrets under the Nile. Number 37. In 2016, researchers using advanced particle physics techniques discovered a mysterious void in Egypt's iconic Great Pyramid of Giza. They used muon radiography, something quite similar to taking an X-ray. These particles, which come from cosmic rays that impact the Earth's atmosphere, can penetrate solid materials such as the stones of the pyramid. By measuring where more particles, known as muons, pass, scientists can detect voids or areas of lower density within the structure. This is how they found a corridor-shaped hole in the pyramid, which measured approximately 98 feet and had a gallery of similar cross-section to the narrow corridor that leads to the king's chamber. The purpose of this hallway is still a mystery. It could be a structural feature, like other voids in the pyramid that were built to redistribute its enormous weight, or it could be something else entirely. Speculation is part of the excitement. Number 38. In 1938, archaeologists discovered something incredibly out of place while excavating near Baghdad, rock batteries dating back more than 2,000 years. However, this battery is nothing like the ones we use today. It is a small clay jar that at first glance doesn't look like much, but inside it contains a copper cylinder that encloses an iron bar. This artifact, dating to the Parthian period around 250 BC to 224 AD, it is known as the Baghdad Battery. This artifact has captured the attention of historians and archaeologists for good reason. After all, if the Baghdad Battery is indeed a battery, it would mean that ancient civilizations may have had a rudimentary understanding of electricity long before modern discovery and use of electrical energy. The researchers found that by using an acidic or alkaline substance like vinegar or lemon juice, they could theoretically produce an electrical current from the combination of materials in the Baghdad Battery, similar to a simple galvanic cell. Let's say this jar was not intended to be a battery. What could be its possible use? Some have speculated that it could have been used for electroplating, giving a thin layer of gold or silver to other metals, a technique known as gilding. Others, however, suggest that it could have had a ceremonial or medicinal purpose, perhaps used to relieve pain in a similar way to how we use electrical stimulation in medicine today. Unfortunately for us, its mystery remains. Number 39. Thanks to satellite images, scientists made a surprising discovery in the Sahara Desert in Libya. More than 100 fortified castle-like structures were found, dating back approximately 2,000 years. These constructions are the work of the ancient Geramant civilization, about which little is known. This find is valuable for historians and archaeologists. During the exploration of the ruins, experts from the University of Leicester found structures up to 4 meters high, remains of local houses, funerary pyramids, and irrigation systems. This discovery challenges ancient Roman chronicles that described the Garamantes as wild nomads, as the ruins suggest that they were a sedentary and advanced civilization that was able to adapt to life in a desert region with incredible droughts. Number 40. On the momentous and even more enigmatic centenary of the revelation of King Tut's tomb, a burial site has emerged that has captivated historians and history enthusiasts alike. Deep within the Saqqara archaeological site in Giza, an undocumented tomb containing the remains of a mysterious royal queen called Neith has been revealed. But wait, there's more. Alongside the grandeur of Queen Neith's pyramid, an astonishing collection of over 300 coffins and mummies from the New Kingdom period have been unearthed. Each beautifully decorated coffin displays unique facial features that allow archaeologists to distinguish between men and women. On these coffins there are old drawings. The most impressive thing is a gold mask of an unknown woman. The team of archaeologists found an unknown queen, which changed how we understand the past. They also found ancient objects such as games and figurines. These objects show us what the ancient Egyptians thought about life and death. This discovery in Saqqara helps us better understand ancient Egypt and how they buried royalty. Queen Neith's tomb has many amazing things and even more things we don't understand. Historians and archaeologists are studying these objects, and we hope to learn more about this fascinating civilization. Number 41. The infamous curse of the pharaohs remains a disturbing belief deeply rooted in the annals of ancient Egyptian history. According to this chilling narrative, any bold soul who dares to disturb the sacred tombs of the pharaohs will face dire consequences. Bound by a horrifying curse that transcends time and space, the origins of this disturbing myth can be traced back to the early 20th century. Precisely in 1922, when British archaeologist Howard Carter unearthed the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun, an event that would send waves of shock all over the world. Rumors of strange deaths and misfortunes among those who explored Tutankhamun's tomb spread quickly, leading to the idea of a curse. The ancient Egyptians believed that their pharaohs, even after death, had powers to punish those who disturbed their tombs. Although some believed the misfortunes were due to illness rather than a curse, the story remains an intriguing mystery. Some believe in the supernatural, while others look for logical explanations. This story reflects the mystery surrounding ancient Egyptian culture and human interest in the unknown. Number 42. Deep in the tombs of ancient Egypt lies an enigmatic figure at rest known as the Unknown Man, and more famously referred to as the Screaming Mummy. Discovered in 1886 in the hidden deposit of Deir el-Bahari, this puzzling find has sent shivers down the spines of all who have seen it. This mummified individual is differentiated by the terrifying image of him and a peculiar burial that defies ancient Egyptian norms. His face is frozen in an expression of pure anguish, his mouth open as if he were silently screaming about deep hardships. This has spawned many theories about his tormented soul and the tragic events that led to his gruesome fate. The mummy was wrapped in sheepskin, an impure material in ancient Egyptian society, suggesting he may have been an outcast. The poor embalming and hasty burial raise additional questions, hinting that he may have been a disgraced nobleman or a victim of a brutal crime. Some theorize that it could be Prince Pentuer, son of Ramses III, who conspired against his father and took his own life as punishment, which would explain the hasty treatment and anguished expression on his face. However, the mummy's true identity remains a mystery. Number 43. The Osirian is an impressive ancient structure located in Abydos, approximately 350 kilometers south of the Great Pyramid of Giza. This construction continues to fascinate and baffle historians and archaeologists due to its sophisticated architecture and unique features. Some speculate that it could be the work of a much older and more advanced civilization, with technologies that surpass those traditionally attributed to the Egyptians of the Pharaonic era. One of the most notable mysteries of the Osirian is its peculiar architectural design. Unlike the rectangular designs typical of most ancient Egyptian temples, the Osirian features a complex L-shaped configuration. This departure from the norm raises interesting questions about the motives and purposes behind its construction. The magnitude of the Osirian is truly astonishing. Massive blocks of pink granite, some weighing up to 100 tons, form the core of the structure. These huge stones were quarried in Aswan, about 200 kilometers away. The logistical challenges of transporting these gigantic blocks to a desert location, far from the Nile, are extraordinary. The ability to precisely move and place these stones without known advanced machinery challenges our understanding of the abilities of the ancient Egyptians. The architecture of the Osirian adds another level of mystery. The site features a complex double-layered roof system and around a dozen chambers, displaying a level of architectural sophistication that appears to go beyond what a civilization with primitive tools could achieve. The intricate design, including interlocking wedges and the precise stacking of massive blocks, suggests advanced engineering knowledge not commonly associated with ancient Egypt. Furthermore, the use of granite, a material much more difficult to work than limestone, indicates a technological skill that historical records do not attribute to the ancient Egyptians. Adding to the mystery, the Osirian contains no Egyptian hieroglyphics, art, or artifacts. This absence of decoration, rare in ancient Egyptian structures, leaves researchers wondering about the true purpose and origin of this site. The Osirian remains a profound enigma that invites speculation and debate about the hidden capabilities of the ancient world. There is nothing that directly connects the Osirian to the ancient Egyptians. Throughout Egypt's history, temples and monuments were frequently renovated, with new works of art and hieroglyphics added with each renovation. However, the Osirian lacks such additions, making it a unique anomaly. Its underground design is especially unusual for Egyptian temple architecture. Some experts suggest that the Osirian could be much older than the surrounding structures, possibly predating the layers of sand and soil accumulated over thousands of years. Adding more intrigue, there are patterns of water erosion in the limestone enclosure surrounding the site. Some researchers argue that these patterns could only have formed if the structure was built before the end of the last ice age, when the region's climate was significantly wetter. This hypothesis suggests that the Osirian could be a vestige from a time before the pharaohs, hinting at the possibility of an advanced civilization that existed in ancient Egypt. The idea that the Osirian could predate other ancient Egyptian monuments by millennia adds a fascinating layer of mystery to this enigmatic site. It challenges our understanding of history and invites us to reconsider what we know about the origins of civilization in Egypt. One of the most interesting aspects of the Osirian is its underground nature and the constant presence of water. Using modern seismic technology, researchers have discovered that the structure extends at least 15 meters below the current ground level. This suggests that what we see today is just the top of a much larger construction. Seismic testing has also indicated the presence of hollow chambers at depth, hinting at hidden secrets waiting to be discovered. The prospect of what lies within these underground chambers is exciting. However, archaeologists are limited by the water that constantly fills these depths, making drainage impossible. The Osirian features an intricate hydraulic system with a network of canals, ponds, and possibly slopes, designed to control and manage the flow of water within the complex. The precision in this design demonstrates an advanced understanding of hydraulic engineering, including water flow dynamics and pressure management. Number 44. In 1898, archaeologists discovered what they called the tomb of Pa-Diamon in Saqqara, Egypt. Inside the tomb, they found a mummy surrounded by her earthly belongings, carefully arranged on a nearby table to accompany him in the afterlife. Among the usual array of pottery, tools, and other funerary objects, they found something unusual: a small model of a bird. When they catalogued this bird model, it caught the attention of archaeologists due to its almost perfect symmetry. The bird's wings measured just over 17 centimeters and it weighed only 39 grams. Interestingly, the bird had no feet and its wings were attached to a slot in the upper part of the body, extending outwards as if in flight, rather than folded back like typical Egyptian bird models. Upon closer study, we noticed that the Saqqara bird had wings that were streamlined and unpainted except for an eye on one side. The most striking thing was that its tail was rotated 90 degrees, similar to a modern stabilizer. At first glance, it looked like a model airplane, which was surprising since airplanes had not yet been invented in 1898, when it was discovered. At first, archaeologists thought it was a spiritual representation and kept it in a glass case for 70 years. In 1969, Dr. Khalil Messiha, a professor of anatomy and member of several aeronautical clubs, identified it as an ancient model glider. His theories, although not supported by solid evidence, suggested that the ancient Egyptians may have had advanced technologies. Messiha speculated about the lack of paint on the bird to save weight, and proposed that its vertical tail acted as a rudder. Although his theory about the lack of a horizontal stabilizer lacked evidence, he boldly claimed that the bird represented a full-size airplane. This discovery continues to be the subject of debate, challenging our ideas about ancient technology. Number 45. The shale disc, found in the ancient cemeteries of Saqqara, is a notable find for its exceptional craftsmanship and dimensions, with a diameter of approximately 2 to 2.1/2 feet. Its intricate design features concentric circular patterns that have intrigued researchers, suggesting the possibility of being part of a lost ancient technology or an advanced mechanical device. Although some suggest that it could have been used to direct water, the arrangement of its 3 lobes does not seem to support this theory. Instead, it appears to have been part of a rotating mechanism around a central axis. The craftsmanship of the disc is truly remarkable, with thin blades or petals extending from the center, each perfectly formed and symmetrically arranged. The curious burn marks found on the disc have yet to be fully explained, deepening the mystery surrounding the artifact. Some speculate that it could have been a time-measuring device, an astronomical instrument, or machinery for unknown purposes. Connected to the disc are 3 pieces that resemble gear parts, suggesting a link to advanced technology. Comparisons with artifacts from other ancient civilizations known for their engineering prowess, such as the Antikythera mechanism, support the idea of shared knowledge of mechanical engineering among ancient cultures. This similarity suggests a possible lost tradition of advanced technology, raising questions about the true capabilities of ancient civilizations.